Senator Duckworth, thanks for being with us. As a person of color, as a combat veteran, how do you feel when you heard Senator Tuberville make those comments about white nationalism in the military?
Well, I was incredulous, and I checked to make sure that he actually said it. And I cannot believe that he would think that white nationalists were not racist. In fact, I think that it is an insult to our military men and women of all different backgrounds who wear their uniform of this great nation. And we should be focusing on supporting them and not defending white nationalists as he's doing.
I mean, do you think he is truly ignorant of what white nationalism means, what it is, or is it some sort of a game or just kind of a head nod to something?
I can only take him at his word. And he said that, he didn't think that white nationalists were racist when that's an actual dictionary definition. And frankly, that is a disservice to our men and women in uniform.
He did say finally this afternoon, quote, white nationalists are racist. Do you think he's seen the light?
I highly doubt it. I think he's been put under a lot of pressure. But still, for him to even say it in the first place is wrong. We should be focusing on our military men and women who are deployed all over the world right now, protecting and defending this great nation and in harm's way. And this just undermines our nation's national security in so many ways. And he's injuring our military in more ways than one, not just with this remark.
Well, what you're referring to, which is what we've been reporting on, is he has been blocking hundreds of military promotions, high-ranking officers among them, over his objection to the Pentagon's policy of paying for travel for service members who are seeking an abortion, not paying for an abortion itself for the procedure, but for travel and are stationed in states where the procedure is essentially illegal. He told Caitlin Collins last night that his hold is not hurting military readiness or recruiting, and if it was, he wouldn't be doing it. Do you buy that?
He's wrong. And you can not just take my word for it, but take the word of former secretaries of defense. A bipartisan group have come forward and said that he's wrong. Military officers have come forward and said he's wrong. For the first time in our nation's history, for the first time in over 100 years, the Marine Corps is not going to have a commandant of the Marine Corps because of this hold. And by the way, it's not just about abortion. The Pentagon policy is if a service member needs to seek reproductive health care because they're stationed in a state where they don't have access to it, they will reimburse them for their travel, not for the procedure, but for their travel. So it could be like me, someone who had to leave to go get IVF, for example. And he's injecting his personal agenda into military readiness. And this problem is only going to get worse the longer he maintains this hold.
Caitlin Collins pointed out to him that, these former secretaries of defense had signed this letter saying this is hurting. He said, well, they're not elected. They're just nominees. He's an elected official, elected by the people of Alabama. What he also didn't say is that he's never been in the military before. I believe his father was, which he's understandably very proud of, but he has not served. And yet he's telling these former secretaries of defense that they don't know what they're talking about.
He's also telling all the military officers, including those who are currently serving, who have told him this is hurting the military. When you have an acting commander at whatever level, that acting commander cannot issue certain orders. And at a time when we have troops who are in harm's way, defending and protecting our nation, to have commanders, the commandant not have a commandant of the Marine Corps who can exercise his full duties as commandant is destructive to this nation's national security. And it all is laid at Senator Tuberville's feet.
What do you think it's going to take to break his hold on military nominations?
I don't know. You'll have to talk to Senator Tuberville. He's been offered all sorts of off-ramps for this. He was offered a vote on Senator Ernst's bill, which is actually much more stringent, and he rejected that. He's been offered many other options by his own leadership, and he's rejected them all. And he's fundraising off of this. So I suspect that there's more than just his own personal concerns for why he's taking this position.
Are you surprised more Republicans haven't spoken out against what he's doing? Because, they're pro-military history?
Well, you know what? I wish more of them would speak out. I know they've had many conversations with them. Now, listen, the Republican leader McConnell has spoken up and said that he does not support this. So I don't think that you can have a more influential Republican than the leader of their own caucus in the Senate, and yet he's rejected that.